I'm gonna put it simply here. If you guys don't like boring shit and me monologuing a lot, you probably won't like this video. This is gonna be going in depth into what the logistical core is for the Helldivers 2 roleplay channel. Captain, hello my friends, it's Scav here, and today I'm gonna be doing a video on my roleplay faction, the logistical core. So we're going to be going over what a PMC is, what Logi is, and just a simple breakdown of some of the stuff. This is probably going to be a multi-part series, so let's get into it. I know immediately people are going to be like, oh, I've played the Metal Gear franchise, I know all about PMCs. No, it's all Hollywood bullshit. Metal Gear is Hollywood bullshit. This is what a PMC really is, and why Logi is a credible model. Logi is a PMC, or private military company, which is specialized in business dealing with war, combat, logistical support, and procurement and maintenance operations. It's really fairly simple. You need to have a good defense to have a strong offense. That's why the war fronts are comprised of billions of SEAF personnel fighting and millions of Helldivers. This is how we keep them going. This is how we keep the war going, or how it would be, at least in an actual scenario like this. Now I know you're probably asking yourself, but why would there be a need for Logi? Why would there really be a need for PMCs? Why isn't it covered by the SEAF? Super Earth is having to conscript billions of people for their war. They don't have time to adequately train people. Having a private military contractor or private military company allows them to be readily reinforced, trained, and supported while they're getting transported to the war front, instead of having to take time to train people, because then you can replace all your losses. PMCs also fall under a lot less controversy than when engaging in actions unbefitting of a mainstream military. Strawman News can more easily sweep a bunch of PMCs doing the wrong thing under the rug than the SEAF or the Helldivers, since they're the beacons of humanity. And PMCs also allow for non-combat and specialized roles, so that all your SEAF guys can be fighting in the war where they're supposed to be.
Well, actually, but Scat, PMCs are bad.
Shut your goofy ass up, I'm getting there. Don't deny it, PMCs have gotten into a lot of really shady shit recently, with all the stuff and controversy going on in Africa, with the warlords hiring out Wagner for stuff, or Wagner being in Syria. I mean, that's just with the Russians. I mean, Blackwater's done a lot of shady shit in Iraq. They're not entirely on the dark side of war. Yes, they're for profit, they're for money, and they're not entirely on the dark side. They help set up third world militaries to get taught and get supplied, and even have countries have hired private military corporations and companies to protect their political leaders and stuff like that. And yeah, in conflict regions, that's the biggest thing that you need to do. You have to protect your critical infrastructure. But now we're turning all the way into the logistical core and not just the PMC aspects, so here we go. The logistical core is a PMC corporation created by me for the roleplay environment of Mess Hole on the Helldivers 2 server. So yeah, there have been questions as to the canonicity or sensibility of the logistical core in the Helldivers universe, which, yeah, it actually does make sense. We were referenced as a logistical hub on Tarsh, specifically during the building of the DSS, but the big reason I created this was to fill an overarching plot hole in Helldivers. Yeah, you get loaded onto your super destroyer, and you get shot out into the war, but how do they get more troops onto the super destroyers? Or how are the stratagems restocked? Or all the supply pods that you're constantly calling down to deliver freedom and manage democracy on the bugs or the bots. And since so many aspects of a person's life are shaped and manipulated by the ministries, and by extension, their corporations, it's never been mentioned anywhere that there's anyone that actually restocks things, or moves or transports things. So I've made Logi as a sensible conclusion to have a neutral corporation to work with all of them, since yes, the ministries do work closely in conjunction with each other for every aspect of life for the Helldivers, but this is a specific bridge between all of them that they can all work with when they need to, and just moves everything that they need to and gets it into the war effort where it needs to go. without any of the red tape or inter-ministry problems, essentially. But yes, the Logistical Corps does more than just move things. They do operations to get back materials, to go and retrieve bodies, and get the plates and weapons and all the stuff that you guys leave behind on the ground when you die, or when you leave your, when you've completed a mission, or maybe you didn't complete a mission, got wiped out. Logi comes in after, gets all of the stuff that you've left behind, and if need be, completes the mission. So the Helldivers go in and they kick over the ant's nest, do a couple things and leave. We go into the ant's nest to get what they left behind. So Logi also takes smaller proxy forces, but that's a story for another time. Logi's alignment. People are wondering, what the hell, who's Logi with? So Logi is comprised of NPCs that I run and a lot of IRL people, and their alignments range from lawful good to utter chaos gremlins, but Logi works to remain a true neutral approach to things. Their overarching goal is the survival and prosperity of humanity, though right now the bulk of that is with the Helldivers and with Super Earth. So yeah, we are a PMC organization, but we want to keep the survival and prosperity of humanity first. So we also do little side operations in roleplay, like trying to keep someone alive to talk to the cyborgs, since, yeah, they're people too, they just have tinfoil shit strapped on. But yeah, Logi is, in roleplay, is a for-profit PMC corporation. They do work for contracts. People in RP, they might not know, but you can actually rent out a couple of operators or an entire detachment, if you have the money, in order to back you up or help you with your goals and what you're trying to do. Yeah, that's a thing. Y'all probably didn't know that, but it's a thing. And yeah, I went so deep into this as to even make an authorizing act for all that Logi does, so I made it as Act 851-01, and it basically covers all of what Logi does, what Logi is authorized to do. So, they work with the Ministry of Defense, who authorized them to pretty much transport, requisition, and process all the Super Earth Air Force and Helldivers material supplies, ordnance, and assets. So we get to give all the guys their fun little toys so they can go blow up tyranny and socialism in the game and in roleplay. So if they die, we deal with body disposal. We cut the plates or anything that can be reused and recycled off the bodies. We grab weapons, armor, all that, and bag up personal effects. We categorize it, we do all that, and we do that so that other people don't have to. And we're authorized to defend strategic locations, obviously, and assets of importance and critical to transport, storage, disposal, and handling of SEAF and Helldiver stuff, of course, because if we don't have authorization to move stuff around and defend it, then people can just steal whatever they want, which is kind of a problem. Like, higher officials can't fuck with us, because if they do, they'd be impeding the war effort. If you impede the Logistical Corps and logistics in general in war, the war crumbles for you. Like, your people run out of food, they run out of bullets, they run out of fuel, and then they're screwed. Erwin Rommel learned that in World War II, when we started just completely fucking all of his logistics and his supply lines all across Africa. And then we get, as with this, we had a contract with the Ministry of Science that's kind of overarching that, yeah, we get all of the relics and old technology and artifacts and stuff of that sort, and we guard it and make sure that other people can't screw with it. And if any ministry wants to request anything back, then they have to do the proper paperwork to get it back from us. We're not just going to give it to them, of course, because that would mean that one ministry, if it were trying to usurp the other, could just get a bunch of 500 kgs and area deny, like, an entire ministry, which is kind of a problem. They're also authorized to work in conjunction with other units, because if you just have the Corps working with themselves, yeah, they can still do it, but it's a lot less easy. So that means that they can work with the SEAF and the Helldivers, and anyone they need to in order to get their goals set that they need to get done. Various ministries, pretty much, like, they just give us authorization to reactivate old bases, because there's a lot of stuff going on in the front lines, but right now, there's nothing going on backline. Like, there's nothing going on Malevolon anymore or anything like that. And the Logistical Corps is thoroughly taught and trained to do the will of the ministry, so we can't be screwed with. So yeah, we're taught, well, we're not taught by the ministries, but we're backed by the ministries for all of our actions, because every order and action carried out by the Logistical Corps is backed by the ministries, because we do this job so that they don't have to. So yeah, the bullets, the creds, the food, all of that, that's supplied by the Logistical Corps to ensure that the war effort continues. If anyone impedes on the war effort, then you're screwed overall. That's like just a really basic necessity that the Logistical Corps fills. Now we're getting into, this is the very basic explanation of the Logistical Corps' rank system. Commandants, there aren't that many of them. There's no real set number of how many there are, but they're the very, very top. You don't want to see them, because that means that shit's going down. Usually when you see them, there's a big cataclysmic event happening, like when Meridia was popped into a black hole. A logistical commandant was the one that ordered the dispersal and dispensing of dark fluid to the Helldivers to deal with the planet. Logistical officers, there's like 180 of them, or actually more than that, but they're the ones that oversee the fleets, that supply the different systems and the war front, and they're the overarching, they're the main superior they usually interact with. You don't want to talk with a commandant because they can make you disappear. Logistical workers act as basic leadership on like the squad level. They're the squad leads for when operators are sent out. They're more knowledgeable about where supplies go, like some of the more intrinsic systems of it, because they're like the managers. They're the ones that oversee things happening, but they're also really, really hands-on. Logistical operators are, they make up most of the Logistical Corps, because they're the ones that are helping move things around, and they're the main fighting force of the Corps. Logistical technicians do a lot of the backline work. They do a lot of the maintenance, supporting, packing up supplies. They're like more of the worker aspect, whereas the logistical operators are the fighting aspect. Logistical proxy units are under everyone else because they're not technically Logi, but we still have them under our umbrella. Yeah, if people want part 2 or more of that, I can do that. These are my sources, since I know people always want sources for talking about stuff, because, oh, I don't believe you that you know what you're talking about. This I do. This is some of what I've learned, and you can access some of what I've learned through these files. But yeah, thanks for watching. Scav out.